So it's probably going to take me a little bit of work to stitch together this whole day in the life episode, but I figured I'd go back around and cover a few of the things that I sort of just captured on the GoPro or with time lapses from earlier this morning, just so that you're filled in a bit and you know what's up. Also, this video will probably be more of 24 hours in the life of a float center owner rather than just a day in the life, because I think I also want to include some of the stuff from setting up and recording the podcast tomorrow morning. And I don't know what else I have going on tomorrow, but we will look at that too as an option. But just as an idea, as far as the day in the life stuff goes, this morning Tuesdays is when we do a lot of our maintenance work, as I've mentioned. And so what you saw in some of the clips was me going and changing some of the filters and also doing the daily water chemistry testing. So we, every single day, multiple times a day, go through and test the water chemistry to make sure everything is in optimal functioning for health and safety reasons. So that's what I was doing this morning, testing the pH as well as how much hydrogen peroxide residual is left in the float tank from overnight, and also doing some of the general tests for depth and relative density so that I can go and add more salt and water to it later today. So those are things that we do on a daily basis. We don't always top up the salt and water every single day, a couple times a week when needed, but it is helpful to keep track of it based on how many customers are coming through the door, because there is a definite decrease in water level and salt content depending on how many people have been floating. And then you also saw a bit about my workout with Kent. We do Pilates every Tuesday morning, kind of as a bit of a prehab workout, really, to help fight off the risk of injury. Competing in strongman, there's a lot of injury and risk of injury, so it's always good to strengthen those muscles that don't always get the same level of focus and attention with the heavy lifting. So it's interesting, but I'm probably not common to see, but I'm definitely seeing some benefits from doing those Pilates workouts every week.
Wifey on my line, she told me to dumb it down. Mama on my line, asking how I'm dumbing now. I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tyson with the fade, not the air, my hands rocking. When I link with ballpoint, you know it's not. Get out my way. I'm so unashamed. Throats on my veins. Like my 2K green and blue.
So I just finished up that Pilates workout with Kent, and It was definitely a killer today. If you watched any of that, I think he put me through the ringer a little bit, so I'm still trying to recover from it and get my mind right. And I scheduled the email to go out a little bit earlier for our newsletter. If you haven't checked into that for the FlowSpa newsletter, definitely jump on board with that. It's where I'm sending out tips each week, and not only about floating, but just things around flow and mindset, well-being in general. And this one was a special one to celebrate FlowSpa turning 1 today. So I'm just trying to take some of the content from it and also share it across the rest of our social media platforms. Because if nothing else, the fact that today we turn 1 is quite an awesome milestone. And even though if it doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things, you've definitely got to look at those small celebrations that you can achieve along the way in business. As Scott Belsky talks about in The Messy Middle, it's really making the celebrations like these ones count, because the road is never straight up and to the right in business. And so as you're going up and down on this roller coaster, take a few moments to appreciate the gratitude when you've got the chance. And this doesn't only apply to business, but it applies to everything in life. Whatever journey you're on, you really want to be able to take a few moments here and there and practice that gratitude. And the more often that you do it, the better you'll get at it. So on this day, FlowSpa turning 1, I'm especially grateful because it's been definitely a team effort, not only with everybody that's on staff as a team member here at FlowSpa, but the community, the customers, any of you that are online just watching in too and learning from us, the people that have joined us on the podcast and also just tuned into the podcast. I'm grateful for everybody today. I know I've got some clips that I've never shared of our grand opening from last year, which happened about a month and a half after we first opened the doors, but I'm going to try to find some of that and put something together quickly for sharing on Instagram and Facebook in regards to year 1. Okay, so I found enough energy to at least get that done for this afternoon. That was just a little teaser video that I put together for celebrating year 1 to go along with the newsletter that I also shared across our social media platforms. You know, sometimes I do like to keep things a little more exclusive to those insiders that are on our email list, just because they are the ones that are willing to share their inbox with us, which is a very intimate kind of environment that's still left online. You know, to have the honor and the gift of somebody's inbox is really important. So it's something that, you know, a lot of those influencer style people like to talk about, in that you need to deliver value there. And it goes without saying that you've got to continuously deliver value across all platforms and wherever you're going to be sharing information. But the inbox is especially sacred still, I think. So you can also go and check that little teaser out on Instagram or Facebook. If you're part of our newsletter, you can read through the full kind of, I wouldn't say it was a rant, but just my thoughts and contemplations about year 1 that I shared on there. And now we are into the afternoon. So having just posted those clips on Instagram and Facebook for the 1 year celebration. I've been trying lately to do as some of the more knowledgeable influencers on social media say, and don't post and ghost. So in the past, I've always just posted things and then disappeared, I guess partially to avoid any kind of criticism or anything is mainly the reason why. To get over my fear of actually sharing stuff in the first place, I would just post it and then run off, even go into the woods for a walk or something at certain points. But with this celebration of year 1 for Flow Spa, I really wanted to stick around and be able to express my appreciation in person for anybody that's taking the time to comment or share any of those posts. So that's a pro tip for today, I guess, is don't post and ghost. So something I'm quickly doing right now, which is probably not typical of most float center owners, but at least for me, is there's a lot of footage that I have to transfer to external hard drives because most of the vlogs are around 20 gigabytes in size, 10 to 20. But then the podcasts are the big ones because we record video for the whole thing. They're usually over 50 gigabytes of data. And so there's a lot of offloading that from my computer so that it can keep up with any of the new stuff coming out and not just getting filled up. So that could be a topic for another video too. If you want to kind of learn more about my organizational system for editing videos and all of that stuff, I'll probably get around to doing that at some point. It's also something I talk about in the 2020 Vision course quite a bit. There's a bonus video that talks about my favorite productivity tools and digital productivity tools. So you can also check that out for more info. And so yes, I'm going to now try to get through editing a FlowCast episode. We did 2 episodes last week, so it was a busy week, and we've kind of got an extra one in the bank, and I'm going to see if we end up releasing it this week. So I'm going to try to quickly get the video version done. I think there's a clip of me editing the audio from it that I'll throw in here as well. And so here we go. Tunes are a definite must for this type of editing once I'm done listening through to the whole podcast. And then I'm just trying to sync up everything for the video version. Gotta blast the tunes. All right, so the podcast is now rendering out. It's gonna take about 30 minutes. It's probably gonna be faster though. Once this computer ramps up, it does it pretty quick. It's much better than what it used to be though. My old computer, it took overnight, usually 12 hours to render out the podcast in video format. So I can handle 30 minutes. Plus, the computer's fully functional. I can do whatever else I want with it. So while that's happening, I am going to go and start mopping the floors. That felt pretty great, as it always does. So I think I'm gonna wrap up this episode of A Day in the Life here and carry on with the next one in a future release, just because I think it's gonna be super long if I try to keep it all in one thing. So we're continuing on this 24 hours in the life kind of thing, starting tomorrow morning when we get Josh Martin on the podcast, and we'll continue on from there. So I'll talk to you later.